Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English inquiry into language and literature. The title of this course is Writing for Communication, and like in the last video, we'll be analyzing, organizing, and writing. So let's get to it. In this course, we did not talk much about the course concept, but there are three important parts to our course concept. The first part is communication, and the title of our course is Writing for Communication. So when we write, we are not writing for a test. We are not writing to practice. We are going to write for communication. Our related concept is structure. Structure means how something is built, the pattern or the form it takes. When we look at writing, writing has structure. So, how can we communicate with structure? Please think about that as you watch these videos and take the lessons. In session 2, in your classroom, you're going to do several activities. First, you will analyze paragraphs and essays. That means you will study them and try to understand their structure. When you analyze them, you will look to identify the most important parts of paragraphs and essays. Identify means find. After that, you will start to organize your writing using lists. You will list your ideas for writing paragraphs and essays. Last, you will communicate your ideas through writing paragraphs and essays. This is important because in the third session, you will have a performance test and reflection. So now it's time to work on analyzing paragraphs. In our last lesson, you analyzed lists and also diary entries. This time we're going to analyze paragraphs. But first, let's go back to our rubric and check what analyzing really is all about. So here we are with analyzing. There are 4 points. The first point and the most basic point is reading. You could read and understand the paragraph. The second point is going to be that you studied the reading carefully. Studying the reading carefully means that you look at each part and you think about what that part may mean. The third point is finding all of the important parts of the reading. It is important to identify the different structure within a paragraph. And finally, you should be able to share your ideas with others. These are the 4 points for analyzing. Now, let's try. Okay, so now I'm going to analyze the paragraph. There are 2 paragraphs, and my first job is to read them. So I'm going to read both of them. And of course, I have all of my colored pens and highlighters to help me as I mark the text. So let's read first. Dogs. Dogs are good pets. First, they are friendly. Next, they can help people in many ways. Last, there are many kinds of dogs. So, dogs are good pets. Okay, so I read it and I understand. Now, I'll read the second paragraph. Playing sports. Playing sports is healthy. First, you can run a lot. Next, sports make our bodies strong. Last, There are many kinds of sports, so playing sports is healthy. Okay, so I read both of the paragraphs and I understand them. So my next job is to study them carefully, to analyze them. So I think, well, just like with a list, it looks like there's a title here. And these both have an opening and closing sentence that's the same, kind of like a sandwich. Yeah. I want to show that there's a connection between these two sentences. So I'm going to mark paragraphs in a way that shows I've found the connection. So I can see that there's a connection between the opening and closing sentence. What's next? Let's see, both of them have a first and both of them have a next and both of them have a last. So it looks like there's three kind of points between the opening and closing sentences. So I've studied these carefully, and now I need to kind of bring my analysis together. So I'll make some notes down here. Okay, so now I've written my notes about the analysis, and as you can see, I've decided that the title of the paragraph tells me the topic of the paragraph. A topic is by reading the topic, I know what the paragraph is about. Next, I've shown that this opening sentence gives me the main idea. That's important because looking at this paragraph, the topic is playing sports, but the main idea is playing sports is healthy. If the main idea was playing sports is dangerous, that would be very different. So the topic and the main idea are connected, they're related, but they are different. Next, I've shown that there are three supporting ideas, and these ideas must support the main idea of the paragraph. And last, the main idea is given one more time in the closing sentence. So I think I'm finished with my analysis, and it's time for me to start writing. Now that I'm done my analysis, I'll go back to my rubric and check how I did. There were two paragraphs, and yes, I could read and understand both of them, so I'll give myself a check here. Next, yes, I did study the reading very carefully. I can show that by my highlighter and pen marks, so I'll give myself a check here. Next, did I find all of the important parts? Yes, I think I found all of the important parts of an essay, so I'll give myself a check here. And finally, by making this video, I could share my ideas very well with others. So I think my score is perfect. So I have an 8. Next, I'll give a short lecture or speech about how paragraphs are formed. Please listen carefully and prepare to write your own paragraph. When we communicate our ideas, sometimes our ideas don't make it to the listener or reader. When we're writing, it's important for us to have good structure. In a paragraph, a title shares the topic with the reader. It's like the start of your bridge. The topic sentence says the main idea. It can also be called an opening sentence. The main idea may be very different for the same topic. For example, dogs are good pets is very different from dogs are bad pets. Next, we have 3 supporting ideas. Finally, a closing sentence restates the main idea of your paragraph. With this structure, it's easy for your ideas to be communicated to others. But what happens if the structure is not followed? Let's read the paragraph. Playing sports is healthy. First, you can run a lot. Next, sports make our bodies strong. Last, there are many kinds of sports. So, playing sports is healthy. The first part, playing sports, is the topic. And our main idea is that playing sports is healthy. The first 2 sentences support the main idea. Running and having a strong body supports the idea that playing sports is healthy. How about the last supporting point? There are many kinds of sports. Yes, there are many kinds of sports. However, many kinds of sports doesn't mean playing sports is healthy. It doesn't support the main idea. So, what happens? Our communication may fail. Next, let's prepare to write a paragraph. Now it's time for me to start writing. So I'm going to first organize my writing and by making a list. And after I organize my writing, then I'll actually do the writing. So my paragraph is going to be about Omiya International Secondary School. So this time in my list, I'm not going to use numbers, I'm going to use bullets. So let's see here, Omiya International Secondary School. I could write about teachers. For example, I think the teachers here are interesting. I think that they come from many different backgrounds. They have many different interests. I could write about students. The students here have many good ideas. And they come from many places, even outside of Japan. I could write about the school building. The school building is very new, and there are many computers. And the workspaces. I like the workspaces. I think that's enough for a list. Now I will decide what my writing is going to actually be about. So obviously I'm going to talk about teachers, students, and the school building. And I think, yes, I'll write that the teachers are interesting. The students have good ideas. And I'm going to write about the workspaces in my paragraph. So now it's time for me to do my writing. Start with my title. learned my topic sentence. Well, interesting, good ideas, workspaces. Okay. Omiya International Secondary School is a great school. First, the teachers are very interesting. Next, the students have many good ideas. Last, the school building has workspaces. They are nice. So, Omiya International Secondary School is a great school. I'm finished with my writing. And I did a good job because here I clearly organized my writing. So that would be B1. And here I did a good job of actually producing text, of actually writing. So I did a nice job with both of those things. Now I'll check my rubric.